Subnautica 2, one of the most highly anticipated games, launches into early access after nearly a year of turmoil on March 14th, 2026. But will it be worth the hype? Hey there folks, I'm Rhiow, a variety content creator with a focus on story, building, and romance games, leaning towards cozy, but not always. You can catch me live on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m. EST. Sequels are universally hard to nail with as much love from the fan base as the original, and Subnautica had a lot of time to gather a fan base, having originally launched into early access in December in 2014. It was followed by what was originally supposed to be a DLC for the main game, Subnautica Below Zero, in January 2019. So that's where some confusion lies. Subnautica 2 is not truly a sequel. Not really. Below Zero would have technically been the sequel. And you know what? It's a good thing it was. Smaller biomes, testing for new mechanics, and a divisive storytelling narrative that went in the face of the silent protagonist of the first game. The Below Zero game gave the developers Unknown Worlds a good testbed. They tried something, and while it didn't flop, it definitely didn't do as well as Subnautica. So they learned from their missteps with Subnautica 2. One of the biggest issues the fandom has with Subnautica Below Zero is the chatty protagonist. Without meaning to, Subnautica launched itself into horror fans' hearts, and the silent protagonist allowed fans to put themselves directly into Riley's shoes. Or Flipper's, in this case. It wasn't some character you were playing, you were Riley. You were in the driver's seat of the sea moth. You were the one desperately grabbing for that bladderfish. And you were the one stating the ocean yellow when you heard the roar of the Reaper Leviathan. When I listened to the dev Q&A, I was so freaking happy. They said the protagonist in Subnautica 2 will be silent. At first, I thought I was going to be hype about this game because I could finally drag my friends into the depths screaming with me, but no. I'm a story girly through and through, and having that silent protagonist so he can self-insert is so huge to me. It's part of what gave Subnautica its charm originally. That, and having a story, but being able to go at it without being led along by some obvious quests. I hope they keep it that way too. The radios, which they used in their audio dramas, were such an integral part in Subnautica's story originally. You didn't have to do them in order, but they did have triggers that would make them flash that little blinky light at you. So you could stack up like 5 at a time and then eventually just go and do them all. And now they're doubling down saying we have voice acting for things, and it's not generative AI. An absolute win in my books. Going over the Q&A briefly, it looks like they're saying the average time spent played in the current early access build is about 20 hours. That is, if you don't rush it, but you also don't spend 30 hours building a base. And it will get longer in the full release, which isn't for another 2 years, but we take what we can get. In my last video, I talked about how I'm tired of single-player games artificially inflating their time played with a massive grind. And I may have misspoke a little bit. I more meant offline games, where they don't need an engagement metric doing that. So, even though Subnautica 2 is optional multiplayer, having 20 hours of story that likely won't be locked behind a massive grind is right up my alley. And having the story not be entirely linear as well is amazing. I've always applauded Subnautica for having a wonderful storytelling method. I will, however, fully admit I'm a little apprehensive despite my own personal hype. I've been looking forward to a lot of games lately that turned out to be instances of I hype myself up too much. I want to love these games, but some of them have just fallen flat. Or maybe I get like a few hours of enjoyment out of it before the grindy systems intended to keep me in the game kick in. So I'm definitely worried that Subnautica 2 isn't gonna fully live up to my own expected hype. Don't get me wrong, by the way. I know it's early access. I expect bugs. I expect unfinished story. That's not what's gonna kill the hype for me. If they somehow slipped in some long, boring grind, shoo us completely into a linear storyline instead of the small branches like Subnautica, I'm gonna be really sad. I've been crying lately for a story-act game that I could sink my teeth into, and Subnautica is one of those ones you could only experience once truly, but whose storytelling method sticks with you for the rest of your life. Editing Rhiow here, I've since seen a couple of videos come out from people who have been external playtesters, people who live and breathe Subnautica, like Anthomnia, and while yes, the video was sponsored, I'm gonna put a little bit of faith into his words that he's really excited for Subnautica too. I won't say more. You can check out his video, link down in the description. That, and then I also watched the dev demos that they did on Saturday, where they spoke of their non-linear storytelling methods. Oh, I'm so hype. I want it now. I'm recording this later on Saturday, and it's so far away still. I don't get to play it until Friday. Are you going to be playing Subnautica too? I'm going to be giving it a shot over on my Twitch channel on the 15th, a little earlier than my usual time. I'm so excited. I took off half a day from my day job and I'm going to be starting at 1 p.m. EST. I hope I can get lost in its story again like the first one, and I hope the devs learned all their lessons they needed to from Below Zero and from other games on the market. I'll see you there. Or I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.